And my mom also was really struggling because she thought my dad was cheating, had started cheating. And so, so she was depressed. She was pretty broken. And she was like, what would you think if we homeschooled, but we got into that Gothard program? When you're on the outside, the people in IBLP were like the elite Christians. I mean, these are the really spiritual, godly, perfect families. So when you're kind of broken and you're looking at these perfect, beautiful, shiny, happy
people,
families, yes, people all around you, and they are the elite. Like they have signed on for a lot of restrictions and a lot of stuff. And like there's a huge pervasive theme of godliness.
Yeah.
It looks like if you just do what they do, then you'll have their life as well. So I think she was really reaching for fixing our family in a way that felt most accessible to her. When you're a Christian woman, a lot of times you're supposed to submit. And if there's a problem, you're supposed to pray more. It's very disempowering. So she thought this would be the fix. So we were driving home and she was like, okay, we're going to join. And I was like, am I allowed to wear pants? And she's like, nope, no more pants. Am I allowed to can I date? No, we can't. We won't be dating. And I was like, can I shave my legs still? And she's like, oh yes, they will want you to shave your legs and to wear makeup. Like we were going through all the rules. And I was like, well, it has to be better than public high school that I'm really struggling with right now. And maybe it'll fix the family. Yes. So that was the conversation, but it started such a dark path for all of us.
Right. I'm sure, especially at that age where maybe you're starting to like boys and you're starting to be curious and your body is changing and you're like, wait, what are we doing? This doesn't sound like fun to me. Because you had mentioned off camera that as far as dating goes, you have to go on dates with your parents or a sibling. You have to be chaperoned, right? Until you're married.
Yeah. So it was like this really cute kid moment where my parents come back from the basic seminar and I'm 12 years old. I'm actually in the backyard, like gardening. And they're like, oh, we're home. And also when you turn 16 and start dating, we're all going to be going on your dates with you. And I was like, my parents have lost it. Are you kidding? Why would you go on a date with me? Like, where are you going?
Yeah.
Who's telling you this? So yeah, it was very, yeah. So that was the start, the kind of cute start to what everyone on TV for all these years thought was really cute, this wholesome American family with courtship, but it's actually really dark.
Yeah, and I think it just creates an environment for abuse, as we mentioned, because the more you suppress, it becomes distorted. Anything, any value that you're just like, can't do this, and then it creates a weird obsession with it in some cases, or it makes you feel so ashamed that you don't want to experience it at all. Like, what was it like? And I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but when you got out of the cult and you were able to listen to music, was it a shock to you as far as the different types of music or TV shows?
So this is the odd thing that in some ways it sticks with you. I never went back and listened to the music I was missing, in a sense. When I was 8 to 12, my parents listened to a lot of Beatles and some oldies, so I'm familiar with them. I have no idea music from the 80s and 90s. And then a little at a time, I would start adding in more normal music. So it was a very slow integration. Mm-hmm. One thing that was really big and different after I got out was clothes, because I had no idea how to dress and what to get. Mm-hmm. So I'd worn long dresses for so long, and I was in college at University of Florida, and I think it was the first time I was really shopping for myself with normal clothing, and I didn't know what to get or how to pick it out. So I had the shopping attendant at Old Navy help me pick out clothes and jeans and stuff. I know, it was like I didn't know what to do or what looked okay and how to make stuff match in a jean kind of way. So
yeah, and if anyone is wanting a little bit more context on this too, if you are familiar with the Duggars, 1920, however many kids and counting, they had a TV show, and Shiny Happy People goes into that and kind of the dark side of what was going on behind the scenes. But that's the example of the lifestyle, and it does look very sweet and happy and, oh, their family's so well behaved. And then when you learn why they're well behaved, it's really dark. I mean, these families are practicing, what is the name of the book? To Train Up a Child by Michael Pearl, where he teaches you how to beat your child into submission. And it's just so sad. And I know that that's a controversial topic as far as spanking your kids. I'm very much on the don't spank your kids, don't hit your kids type of thing. But, you know, they take it to the extreme where there is an example. What's the wife's name on the Duggars? Michelle?
Michelle, yeah.
Michelle was talking about how she did blanket training with her up to infants, where you would put them on a blanket and then you would put their favorite toys on the outside of the blanket. And when they go to reach for it, you would smack their hand until they realized, oh, I can't make any decisions without your approval. And oh my gosh, my heart was just breaking. I almost burst into tears just thinking about this poor baby. I mean, we're talking about babies that they're doing this with. It makes no sense to me. And so this whole mechanism of control is just fear-based, and it's control and it's coercion and it's manipulative, but of course you can't see it until you leave. So anyway, we jumped ahead. Let's talk about the homeschooling program, ATI, what that was like for you and what your experience was with it.
Advanced Training Institute has their own curriculum. They're called wisdom books, and you're supposed to do one wisdom book per month. Some families use that as their only form of education, and I am really thankful that my dad was actually very interested in all of us going to college, and he was a little bit less, I mean, for the challenges that were in the house, he also was less interested in following all the IBLP stuff, which brought its own kind of like complications. But we used also regular traditional curriculum as a supplement.
Oh, good.
It's like a homeschool curriculum or other curriculum. And then ATI curriculum for us was a supplement. The wisdom books had like so much misogyny and some racism. And you just think that this is normal. The first one, I think it's maybe the first one of them basically says, you know, like, why did God let it happen? And it goes into, again, the rape stuff. If you're raped, why did God let it happen? But you also are instructed on clothing, and women can't wear dresses that have a V-neck. They can't wear dresses that have a scarf that's near your middle of your chest. You can't have a slit in your skirt. And this is all the kind of indoctrination that's also, if I recall correctly, literally in the wisdom book. So you're reading your homeschool curriculum and you're indoctrinated on misogyny and sexism and shame for women constantly.
Yeah. And as far as the science goes, I remember something saying, what was it in the show? Like, your hands are made of non-living atoms or something really off. And I was just like, who wrote these and how did they get approved? Because some of it is just straight up wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking about these poor kids that had that as their only source of education.
Yes, and yes. It's terrifying and also awful. So we have a law firm, and one of the things that we've been able to do, I'm also like a domestic violence survivor afterwards, and a lot of the girls and women, you know, were not given education. They were pushed into marriages that ended up being high in abuse and violence. So our law firm, like a lot of times we hire entry-level women who have been abused or domestic violence victims. They may not even know it yet. Like, I know that they are, but they're from the cult. So we're trying to like give these girls and women who have had no chance in life because they were expected to be wives, and now they're experiencing domestic violence. They don't even know it yet, but like, you know, because they tell you what's going on. So try to bring them in and empower them. But yeah, there's like very poor education. And for women, generally no college. It's very, very looked down upon to go to college.